was Stephen Robinson who said a few minutes ago they didn't have a friendly feel about it. I think they can certainly sense that around the stadium this evening, and I think that's probably what Steve Clarke and his Scotland side want and need, is a good competitive fixture. And of course the large crowd here anticipating a return to winning ways for Scotland. Northern Ireland will have something to say about that, of course, as they seek to build in a win over Denmark in their final qualifier, and then a draw away to Romania on Friday. A very creditable draw it was. The Scotland team just having their picture taken, all in the new navy kit, with Angus Gunn all in bright yellow, Northern Ireland in white tops, green shorts and white socks, also having their picture taken. Goalkeeper Bailey Peacock Farrell wearing a protective mask this evening, all in red, and the match referee is Robert Jones of England. He and the two captains, Andy Robertson and Paddy McNair of Northern Ireland, going through the coin toss right now. Scotland haven't lost in the last 4 meetings with today's opponents, dating back to a home championship defeat at Windsor Park in December 1983. More pertinently though, this current Scotland squad has lost just twice in their last 21 here at Hampden, winning 14 of those and hoping to make that 15 by the close of play tonight. I'm just looking at the other games that are taking place this evening. Of course, Georgia and Greece in one of the playoff matches that went to penalties, and as far as I can tell, penalties are still taking place, 0-0 after extra time, but Georgia have just clinched it 4-2 on penalties. So our old friends the Georgians will be joining Scotland in Germany at Euro 2004. I'll keep you up to date with Wales, Poland and Ukraine, Iceland, but the big deal for us is here at Hampden, as Scotland going from left to right prepare to get us underway here at the National Stadium. And Scotland looking to turn in the kind of performance they showed in the first hour to 70 minutes out in Amsterdam, but clearly this time turn it into goals and a positive result. And it is Scotland in possession in the early stages, and Liam Cooper with an early touch across to Jack Hendry and out to Patterson on the halfway line. Back it goes to Hendry. A lot to like about that Scots performance for me in Amsterdam, but clearly at 4-0 defeat is a difficult one to take too many positives from, as Patterson plays it infield. Gilmour can't quite gather it, and Northern Ireland string a few passes together for the first time in the game and come forward now with Brodie Spencer, who can't find a teammate. Patterson turns back in field right on the goal line, plays it to Hendry, who knobs it up towards Dykes, nods it down there for Christie, and back with Gilmour, who is excellent while he was on the pitch against the Dutch, and Scotland spread the play out to the left hand side, and it's the captain Robertson, as I mentioned pre-match, joining Kenny Miller and Davy Weir tonight as the 8th all-time most capped Scotland player on 69 caps, as Hendry plays it out to Patterson right hand side. A minute and a half gone at Hampden, and no efforts on goal as such as yet, as Tierney picks up possession and tries to move away from his man and then pokes it out to the left hand side. Scotland drifting forward, it's Christie in towards the back post, it reaches McGinn, tries to clip it to the back post, but there's a Northern Ireland player in his way. McGinn working back to ensure they win the free kick. An early opening though for Scotland, Stephen Thompson, and McGinn just finding his way blocked to goal.
Yeah, it was really good work from Kieran Tierney and Christie out on the left hand side. A deep cross, John managed to take a decent enough touch. The ball was just behind him, they tried to kind of clip it with his left foot from the edge of the box. He was going for the top corner, but it was deflected, and then he worked really hard to win possession back and get Scotland the throw.
Patterson can't keep possession. He's knocked upfield by Price, who is starting on the left hand side for Northern Ireland, and I think certainly that formation gave earlier on 5-4-1 for Northern Ireland looks to be right, and more or less all the players in the positions that I suspected.
Well done, Al.
Yeah, that's at least one thing I've got right this evening. Scotland certainly in the now familiar shape that Steve Clarke likes to play, and trying to build down the left-hand side as McTominay has it. Out to Robertson, and Tierney now 15 yards or so inside the Northern Ireland half, left-hand side. No easy way through, and he goes back to Cooper, who goes all the way back to his goalkeeper Angus Gunn at the edge of his penalty area, and then plays out to Cooper once more. Hendry just outside the Scotland box, square to Liam Cooper, and now Billy Gilmour coming short to pick up possession. Hendry once more approaching the halfway line, tries the switch of play, doesn't come off for him though, and Bradley picking up, but likewise he can't find a teammate. Gilmour helps it forward. It's Christie advancing towards the edge of the penalty. He goes for goal, but he can't hit the target. And Scotland showing good signs of positive intent in these early stages, Willie.
Yeah, Billy Gilmour doing really well to break up a passage of play from the visitors, you know, and setting Christie. And I think he should be doing better, though. I think he'd be disappointed that he didn't hit the target with that one. You know, it comes on, he's got quite a clear strike. It takes a lot of deflection, actually. We just see a replay of it here in front of us, so it does take the deflection. He's trying, the same as McGinn did, just try to curl it towards the far post, but taking the deflection. But a good opportunity.
Patterson has it for Scotland, 4 minutes in, and goalless in this international friendly. A couple more to come in June before the Euros. One more at Hampden against Finland. But important, Scotland do break that winless run this evening, and perhaps doing it in some style, as McTominay plays it short to Gilmour. Forward for McGinn, quickly surrounded and dragged to the floor by Shea Charles of Southampton. Free kicks quickly taken out to the right hand side to Patterson. Kenny McIntyre getting in Stephen Thompson's way there, as you can probably hear, as Scotland bring it forward, clipped in towards Patterson. Spencer getting just enough of a touch on that, back with Huddersfield after spending the first half of the season on loan at Motherwell, doing pretty well in his time up in Scotland as well. Cooper just has to turn back to his goalkeeper, with Jamie Reid closing him down, looking to build on his goal in his debut for Northern Ireland out in Romania, as Gilmour encourages Kieran Tierney to move up the field with him and plays it out to him on the left hand side. Tierney has it back from Robertson, and then into Christie. It's good possession again from Scotland. Haven't done all that much with it as yet. A couple of half chances for Christie and McGinn. Northern Ireland just sitting off Scotland for the moment, asking them to try and find a way through. Patterson back now to Hendry, still inside his own half, plays it square to Cooper and out to Kieran Tierney, left hand side. It's Christie swapping positions with Robertson and that left wing back role, and then switching it to Patterson, right hand side, tries to swing it into the edge of the penalty area, looking for Robertson this time, just to get a nick on that far side of Bradley, and it will be a Scotland throw. And they're going to have to be patient, you sense, Stephen, because they are holding this pretty much 9 men behind the ball.
It's a different game from the one against the Netherlands, when, you know, they're more than comfortable coming forward, and that creates spaces and opportunity for you to exploit. You can see that Northern Ireland hold on, or just let this cross come in.
Yeah, it might yet come in. It's a low one, it's not a great one from Cooper, it was, who was up as part of the attack, and it's a poor ball, but Patterson makes the most of it. McGinn now closed down quickly by Spencer and couldn't get the pass away, and Scotland just dallying in possession there a couple of times, and Northern Ireland able to break forward up to the halfway line. Good challenge though by Cooper, and now McTominay moves forward with purpose up towards the edge of the penalty. He goes down. Was he fouled? Yes, he was, says Robert Jones, and it'll be a free kick to Scotland about 25 yards from goal, pretty central area. Good position for a free kick.
It's a dive, I have to say, as much as Obviously you want to be positive for Scotland. For me, that's not a foul. I think he's left in and waited for the contact. We'll get a better look at it now as the replay comes in. Yeah, for me that's a dive, but we're not caring. We've got the free kick about 23 yards from goal, very central. A couple of players standing over. But I was saying just before that, Northern Ireland are going to sit very deep, and it's up to us to try and break them down. It's a different type of game. We're going to have to be more creative. We're not going to have the space that we had against the Dutch.
Yeah, Paddy McNair, very unfortunate to be penalised for that, you'd have to say, having looked at the replays of it. But it does present Scotland with the chance to get on the score sheet early on. 8 minutes played here at Hampden Park. Free kick to the Scots. About 25 out. Christie and McTominay among those over this one. The Northern Ireland wall lined up. McTominay goes for it straight into the wall, breaks back to Christie. His shot's charged down. McTominay will try once more, and again it's charged down, this time by Spencer as he came out. And Scotland not making the most of that opportunity at all as Gilmour's then closed down, but the pass does get through to Christie. Now it's Patterson, finds Christie once more on the right hand side of the penalty area, tries to feed it back to McGinn, gets just enough on it. McGinn helps it towards the back post, a great ball, and the cut back from Robertson comes off a Northern Ireland player and behind for a corner to Scotland. 9 minutes in, Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 0.
Yeah, I mean, it's good pressure, an intelligent clip by John McGinn, isn't it, to the back post. Andy Robertson trying to see, was it a deflection? I mean, it was a good opportunity. He's ghosted in at that back post. He's trying to cut it back. That's what he's trying to do. I don't know. Maybe it's, for me, maybe the better decision would be to have a go himself.
In swinging corners, well met at the near post by a Northern Ireland head. As Scotland try to retrieve possession out on the right hand side, they've done so. So that's good play, and Billy Gilmour picks up. It was Kieran Tierney out in that right wing position, winning the ball back, and it's fired back in his direction, but it's overhit and it's out for a Northern Ireland throw. Certainly all Scotland in terms of attack, but no saves as yet.
No, but that was a really good moment. You know, the cross in from John McGinn, really used the word intelligent. It was put into an incredibly dangerous area. Andy Robertson just getting there. I think it was possibly too tight, Willie, just to get the shot away, and he's tried to cut it back, and we've won the corner. But we've certainly got all the possession in the game, and you know, it's all about what you do with that possession when we do get the opportunity. Our movement off the ball is going to have to be good. Midfield runners.
Here comes Scotland into the feet of Lyndon Dykes, midway inside the Northern Ireland half. Right hand side, John McGinn plays it back to Hendry, tries to slide it forward again to McGinn. Out of play for a Scotland throw-in. Michael O'Neill just back heels it away to force Jack Hendry to go and retrieve the ball. Scotland pick up once more, and it's Tierney just inside his own half, spreading play out to Patterson, nods it forward, looking for him again, but it's knocked out of play. It's all Scotland just at the moment, no goals as yet. 10.5 minutes on the clock as Hendry has it forward for Patterson. Gilmour back to Hendry, and all the way back to the halfway line for Cooper. Perhaps a slight surprise inclusion from Steve Clarke today as Robertson tried to take that on the run there, just overruns it, and it's out of play for a Northern Ireland goal kick. 11 minutes played here and no goals.
Yeah, I think the Liam Cooper choice maybe is just to have a pure defender in there, I would suggest. You know, a big, tall, strong unit that enjoys defending rather than maybe, you know, a more mobile type central defender, just to give a little bit of security. Plus, you know, he has been round the squad for a number of years now and hasn't had too many opportunities, so I think this gives him a chance to show the manager, if he needs, showing what he's capable of, and, you know, maybe using his experience to organise at the back as well.
Yeah, he is one of those whose position in terms of being on the plane to Germany is perhaps slightly in doubt, with Grant Hanley and Scott McKenna, the other central defenders who were in the squad initially but both had to drop out, but both will come into contention. And you've got Ryan Porteous as well, so
Suter as well,
not going to take all of them. Suter's on the bench as well, so it's a free kick to Northern Ireland. It was an offside that was given just outside their penalty area. We've got 12.5 minutes played here. No threat as yet to Bailey Peacock Farrell's goal, but certainly Scotland have been the team doing all the pressing. the onus is on them, of course, to try and impress, try and break Northern Ireland down as the free kick's taken. Reid penalised for jumping into Hendry though, and
I'll never understand strikers that do that. I really won't. He's not even looking at the ball, and such a blatant foul for the referee to spot. Go and make a genuine challenge, and you never know what would happen. The ball might bounce down to a midfielder, or the defender could make a mistake, but not good forward play.
I thought Willie was a bit harsh on you earlier on, Stephen, when he was talking about the how he used to try and knock defenders' teeth out and stuff like that. That wasn't at all your game, was it?
I think that's up for debate.
Bailey Peacock far under a bit of pressure there from a back pass, but does well to get it clear, and Northern Ireland come down the right hand side, but across goes Cooper and then knocked out of play by Robertson. Northern Ireland will have the throw in on the halfway line.
Al, there was an element of humour in that.
I know, Willie, I know. There's an element of humour in what I was saying as well, but I think it's probably equally difficult to detect when either of us are trying to be funny.
Yeah, you're not getting a gig at the fringe.
Another throw into Northern Ireland. We'll leave the comedy to you, Stephen. On the right hand side, Northern Ireland and Michael O'Neill trying to get back to that terrific level that they were at when they managed to get to the Euros themselves 8 years ago, getting to the last 16, beaten by Wales in the end. It's been rather downhill for them since then. 3 wins in their last qualifying campaign, albeit one of them was against Denmark, but it has to be said that Denmark had the Group 1 by that stage. Here is Cooper just on the edge of his penalty area, plays it short to Hendry. Perhaps not quite the same urgency in that Scotland performance so far as we saw against the Netherlands, but it is a very different type of game as Christie gets turned on the halfway line, tries to inject a bit of energy into it. It's taken out of play there, and it will have a free kick to about 10 yards or so inside the Northern Ireland half. Quickly taken again as Scotland try to get it moving up the tempo, and it is Christie in possession. Turns it back to Cooper just inside his own half. One way then the other, out to Hendry goes with the pass up to the halfway line, gets it back from Gilmore. Northern Ireland staying in that 5-4-1 structure, not looking to let Scotland play through the lines with any ease whatsoever. Gilmore looking for an option. Out he comes to Patterson with the outside of the boot, looked for the run at McTominay, but it's easily cut out and Northern Ireland have it, and picked up by Isaac Price, who, as Stephen Robinson was saying, plays out with Standard Liège in Belgium at just 20 years of age. Ballard now and out to the right hand side for Hume, but Scotland have won it back. Quarter of an hour gone, still no goals. Forward comes Hendry and out to Patterson. Back infield to Billy Gilmore. Seen a lot of the ball early on, keeping things ticking over in the middle of the park. Cooper for Tierney, for Robertson rather. Back to Cooper. Tierney had taken that position out on the left hand side. Patterson having to rush to keep the ball in play there.
It's the right type of ball though. I mean, because they've got the 5 and then the 4 are so narrow in front of them, we're trying to limit passes into Lyndon Dykes and passes for runners for like some McGinn and Christie through central areas. So when we do get it and lift our heads, it's certainly one of the back 3 that switches the ball to play. It's just got to be done early, and it's got to be done more accurately. Scotland again with the ball in the possession at the back, playing it between the back 3 just at the moment. Cooper to Hendry, and then in field it goes to McTominay. It is a little bit of a slow pace just at the moment. Robertson is trying to turn that infield. Cooper just outside his penalty area, plays it forward to Billy Gilmore, and outside it goes to Tierney. Scotland finding it difficult to get the ball forward just at the moment. It's all one way then the other from side to side inside their own half. But there's Hendry trying to just lift his head. Dykes gives him a run forward. Let's see the aim, and Dykes has done well initially, then falls over his marker essentially.
And Northern Ireland able to bring the ball forward, and they're going to try and spring a counter here. It's led by Charles, and out to the left-hand side for Reid. Reid left-hand side, plays it back to Spencer. Reid once more, midway inside the Scotland half on the left. Infield it goes to McCann. McCann quickly closed down by Gilmore, has to go back the way to Toll, and infield to McNair, and the impetus rather goes out of what at one stage looked a fairly promising Northern Ireland attack. Another opportunity here though for Price. He's given that away straight to Patterson, and then Gilmore gets it to Hendry, and the Northern Ireland move breaks down altogether. Angus Gunn with a rare touch. Barely seen the ball in the opening 18 minutes, as Gilmore then tries to bring it forward. Christie now out to the right hand side to Patterson. Back it goes to Hendry, and infield to Cooper. Willie, what for you could Scotland be doing to try and find a bit more space, a bit more attacking urgency, as Northern Ireland actually nick it on the halfway line and try and come forward themselves? It's out to Bradley, right hand side, tracked by his Liverpool teammate and mentor Andy Robertson, having to go back the way now, but enjoying a bit of possession. We'll let Willie come in that question in just a second, as Spencer tries to play it forward. Patterson knocks out a play. Yes, Willie?
Yeah, well, Tierney just gave that ball away. It was a poor pass. You know, it was Tierney, wasn't it? It was Andy Robertson, the other side of the field. It was one of the two of them. Listen, Northern Ireland look quite comfortable. They just retreat, and they go back into that 5-4-1 formation. They're enjoying the game just now. Scotland are playing everything in front. I think there comes a point where you've got to try and hurt them a little bit with maybe the longer type of ball.
Here's Dykes chasing one of those just now. Out comes the goalkeeper and gets enough on it, and Lyndon Dykes takes a bit of the keeper with him, but play allowed to continue as he chased that ball forward, and it was brave goalkeeping by Peacock Farrell to sense the danger and then thwart it, as Hendry takes a chance at the back but manages to get away with it. Good burst of pace to play the ball to Tierney, and now back with Robertson and Cooper just inside his own half, out to Patterson on this near side, the Scotland right. We've played almost 20 minutes here at the National Stadium. Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 0. Scotland enjoying most of the possession, most of the attacks, but crucially no real threat to the Northern Irish goal as yet, as Hendry picks up and plays it out to the right hand side for McGinn. Back with Hendry just inside the Northern Ireland half. Infield short ball to Gilmore. Now Tierney just inside the Northern Ireland half once more. Tucks it infield to Cooper, and then to his right to Hendry. Northern Ireland just trying to press a little bit more now. Price, the man chasing the ball, but Tierney has it left hand side, gets it back from Christie, and then back infield once more to Cooper. Hendry again picks up 10 yards inside his own half. Short ball to Gilmore. Gilmore, oh, he's taken right out of play there by McCann. It's a poor challenge. Gilmore just showed him a little bit of the ball, and he was too quick to then make the pass for McCann, and McCann is going to be shown a yellow card, and you'd have to say that's probably merited.
100%. I was thinking that the referee wasn't going to show it because it is a friendly match, but I think ultimately he was left with no option other than to show Ali McCann the yellow card. Yeah, Billy McGilmore, he did show a lot of the ball to Ali McCann. He probably thinks he can get there and win it, but he's half a second late and catches the top of Billy Gilmore's foot.
I think being in that situation myself, I think I knew exactly what he was thinking about. I think it was after the ankle, wasn't it? The referee did kind of take a good look at it, but yeah, I think you're right, Stephen. It needed a yellow card.
There was a few yellows shown out in Amsterdam the other night as well, as that's the first one of the evening. Goes to the former St Johnstone player Ali McCann, now playing his football in the Championship with Preston, as Scotland tried to bring it forward on the left hand side. Christie trying to make something of it. It was good defending, and in the end Christie fouling his marker there, and it's going to be a free kick to Northern Ireland. Trey Hume doing well against them.
Yeah, it was a better ball though, and it was an earlier ball, and I think that's important because we've been allowing them time to get set in their 5 and their 4, and there's no space. On that occasion they were slightly out of sync, and we just played the longer ball over the top, and albeit it was a difficult one for Andy Robertson to deal with, but they looked stretched.
It was, I mean, that's the second time that Cooper's played that laser 60-yard pass, and it's worked a treat in both occasions. Nothing came of it, but at least you're getting them turning. If you just constantly keep playing in front of them, you know, it's a bit of a jolly for Ireland, because that's right up their street. That's what they're wanting you to do. You've got to mix it up a little bit. Keep possession and try to move them about from side to side, but now and again just throw one over the top.
London Knights challenging for one there over the top with Ballards. Northern Ireland defender coming out on top. There's an offside flag up against Northern Ireland, and it'll be a Scotland free kick midway through this first period. Scotland have the possession just inside their own half. Back with Cooper, who has seen a lot of the ball at the back, and his distribution, as Willie says, has been pretty decent as he tries to ensure that he is part of Steve Clarke's Euro 2024 squad. The squad's smaller for this tournament than they were for the last one, which makes life all the more difficult for both players and manager, as Gilmore tries to slice through the Northern Ireland midfield there, as John McGinn makes the most of it and manages to keep possession for Scotland. Picked up by Tierney, tries to lift it over the top for the runner Robertson. Northern Ireland managed to deal with that one though, and then Bradley knocks it off McTominay, and out of play over on the far side for a Northern Ireland throw-in. Pretty humdrum stuff so far, Willie Miller, would you not say?
Yeah, you know, I think Michael O'Neill will be happy with the discipline, the organisation that his team's shown out there. You know, he's not coming here to entertain, that's for sure, with the five at the back, four in the midfield, just the one up top as well, and they're beginning to perhaps maybe even grow into the game a little bit themselves. And I think it's up to Scotland, being the home side, to make it more difficult. I think the tempo and the pace has been too slow. I think when you get an opposition setting up the way Northern Ireland have set up, then I think you've got to do things much sharper, and look to get at them a little bit more, look to kind of hurt them and try to get them thinking, because so far in the game they haven't really had to do much thinking.
Northern Ireland have a free kick, which is run by Spencer for a challenge by McGinn. It's more or less in the halfway line. It's going to be taken by the goalkeeper Peacock Farrell, and it's right up to the edge of the Scotland penalty area, but there's another offside flag up against Northern Ireland, and Scotland will have the free kick just on the edge of their penalty area, as the defence made a bit of a mess of trying to get it clear in the first instance, but the flag prevents any further damage. Quickly taken free kick to Cooper from gun. Steve Clarke on our monitors at the moment. Stephen, what will he be thinking at the moment? His side haven't been able to find that kind of craft to tear Northern Ireland apart at this stage.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be too pleased with the performance so far, in terms of coming out and want a reaction from what happened on Thursday evening. I think the possession of the ball, fine. I do think it can be quicker, as well as saying. I think we can be more direct at times as well. I think we need to use the switch of play more often. However, you've got to say that Northern Ireland, looking at it from their point of view, they're doing a terrific defensive job. They're closing us down. They're not allowing us space and time on the ball, centrally in midfield areas. You can tell, because all of our three centre halves have had more touches and possession of the ball than anyone else on the pitch. So we're finding it difficult, and it's up to us to come up with answers. I'm pretty sure if it remains like this, then you'll see changes at half-time, personnel changes, and maybe even a tactical change, and trying to find a way to make it more difficult for Ireland, because we're not asking enough questions of them at this minute in time.
No, certainly not. Throw-ins taken, and that was an awkward fall there for Isaac Price. One of the Scotland players almost made a back for him, and he fell very heavily without any support to break his fall. I think he's probably winded at the moment, although he's told the referee he doesn't need treatment, so it will just be a drop ball in Scotland's favour. It was Nathan Patterson, actually, and he came to earth with a thud there. Young Price.
Yeah, there's nothing worse when you're in mid-air and you know that you're coming down from about 5 or 6 feet and there's nothing you can do. You're going to make contact with the ground. It's exactly what happened to him there. He'd probably be winded, but thankfully he's back up on his feet.
Yeah, Scotland have it then through Cooper out to Tierney, midway inside his own half. 27.5 minutes played, no goals to speak of. Played up towards Dykes to the left hand side for Christian now. Robertson joining in and managing to get the ball into the penalty. It comes to McGinn. He completely makes a hash of his attempt at goal there. Miss-kicking, good challenge from Patterson to win it back though. McGinn down at the corner flag on this right hand side, plays it off Isaac Price, and it will be a Scotland corner. It could have been better though.
I don't think John, got a clear view of it.
He didn't know it was coming.
It's there's a player in front of him. It's low. It's coming at fair speed at him too. He's kind of swung his leg. I think he's just trying to anticipate where the ball might have been, without really knowing where it was.
Well, we will have an opportunity here from the corner kick then. Right hand side, left footer swung towards the back post, and Northern Ireland head meets it. Comes out to Robertson, who just tries to help it back into the penalty area rather aimlessly, behind for a goal kick. And after 28 minutes, it's Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 0.
Yeah, not the best there from Andy Robertson, you're right. Just trying to feed it back into the penalty area, but gets it far too wide. And the one thing you would say, and it would please Willie, I don't see this team scoring against us. Whenever they have got into reasonably promising forward areas, their ideas seem limited in the final third. So I think we can be confident and hopefully that we aren't going to concede. What we do need to do is find better solutions to this defensive problem that we've got in terms of breaking Northern Ireland down.
You mentioned a potential change of shape. I mean, would you be thinking about going to just a back four? Do we need effectively 5?
Not for me,
defenders?
We don't. No, and I wouldn't be adverse to bringing on a second striker either to tie up their defenders. But these are things for Steve Clarke to look at in the second half. He'll be hoping the last 15 minutes of the opening half that we can up it a bit. Hopefully this isn't a bad injury. It's Andy Robertson. He was just stretching for a ball, and the Irish player comes in and just, I wonder whether he twisted his ankle or his knee. Hopefully it's neither, but it looked like a twist rather than a hit.
Yeah, he looks to be in some pain holding his left ankle. The Scotland captain, Trey Hume of Sunderland, the player that caught him, he wasn't holding back there. And this is a worry, not only for Steve Clarke in Scotland, for Jurgen Klopp no doubt as well.
He rolls it quite badly, and generally that means there's some sort of ligament damage.
I think Hume gets the ball though early. I know it can still be a free kick and a foul even when you get the ball if you think it's with undue force, and perhaps that's what the referee is thinking out there. But it looked an awkward one. He certainly looks in a fair bit of pain holding his ankle, and he's obviously twisted it.
Yeah, you could see it kind of fold under him. Sometimes with those ones, it just kind of flicks underneath you and comes back again, and you're okay. You just hyperextend it and you can carry on, and hopefully that's what's happened there.
Yeah, well, certainly he's sitting up and he's been helped to his feet now, Andy Robertson, but you wouldn't imagine it's worth taking any chances with the fitness of the international captain.
Certainly not with the games he's got coming up at club level either, and I imagine Jurgen Klopp would have something to say about that. Huge moments in the season for his employers.
He's not long back from a long-term shoulder injury as well, Andy Robertson. Liverpool had to do without him, and won't want to lose him for another period of time. He is going to come back onto the field of play. Thankfully, seems to be okay, but wouldn't imagine he'll see out the 90 as the ball back with Angus Gunn. Up towards the halfway line, but it's met by Spencer. Spencer gives it straight to Patterson, but he's lost it back to Spencer. Can come forward here for Northern Ireland, invited into the penalty area almost there by Billy Gilmore, just showing him the space, and it required Patterson to come back. He's given it away again. It's Bradley inside the penalty area. Counts a goal for Conor Bradley and Northern Ireland. Stunning finish from the young Liverpool player to put Northern Ireland in front. The mistake from Patterson, and Bradley made him pay, curling it beyond Angus Gunn. It's Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Listen, may have taken a little bit of a deflection as well, but what a strike it was. You could see what he's trying to do, but I think that little deflection, a little touch is just taking it beyond gun and going. It's right into the top corner. But yeah, Nathan Patterson will be disappointed with the part that he played in that goal, really.
Well, firstly, with the pass that comes into him about 40, 50 yards from goal, he takes a heavy touch and then he should win the tackle. He doesn't win the tackle. He then recovers brilliantly, and then there's a real rush of blood to the head as he tries to flick a ball in a really dangerous area where you shouldn't be taking chances.
Yeah, you'd have thought that, because he's got that recovery, that he says, well, I've got away with one there.
Yeah, just launch it.
And just keep it safe, but he doesn't. He tries a little dink pass, to one of his teammates, and it's cut out. And then Bradley just looks and curls it. The deflection has just made it perfect in the top corner, isn't it?
Just a nick off Jack Hendry, I think, wasn't it? He was trying to close him down. But Conor Bradley has his first international goal on his 15th cap, the 20-year-old. Ukraine 0, Iceland 1 in one of the Euro playoffs. Elsewhere, still goals between Wales and Poland, to the best of my knowledge, and Georgia winning against Greece on penalties in the earlier game. But here at Hampden, Scotland trailing by a goal to nil, having dominated proceedings. It's a common story that's being told at the moment for the Scottish national team, but on this occasion they've not really created all that much themselves, and a mistake at the other end has allowed Conor Bradley to put Northern Ireland in front after 33 minutes here.
Created virtually nothing, Alasdair, despite having a large amount of possession. I said 5 minutes before Northern Ireland scored that I didn't think that they were going to score. I think we would get a clean sheet tonight, and it's come from an error. It's not really by Northern Ireland's brilliant player. They're cutting us open. It's two mistakes in a row from Nathan Patterson that have led to it.
And the Northern Irish fans away to our left rejoicing. Kenny said about 1,600 of them.
They're enjoying their night by the looks of things.
Well, they might. Is that Robertson? It's gone down again. Surely we've seen the last of him.
Yeah, he's holding his head this time. Looks as though he's suffering out there. Yeah, the wise thing would be just to get him off. I think that must be going through Steve Clarke's mind.
Yeah, Greg Taylor, the obvious replacement.
Yeah, if they're going to stick with the current formation, certainly. I've just seen a rerun of the challenge on him. I don't think you can really fault the Northern Irish player Trey Hume for making the challenge, and he looks pretty disconsolate out there, Andy Robertson. Just pointing again towards the left ankle. So
he'll be going for a scan in the next couple of days and learn how bad the damage is to his ligaments.
It's Lewis Ferguson actually who's going to come on, so that would indicate some sort of change of formation for Steve Clarke as he gives John McGinn the armband, Andy Robertson, and a couple of handshakes from teammates as he goes off. Well, he doesn't like missing any Scotland games. Such a proud captain, and terrific one he's been in helping Scotland get to a second consecutive Euros, and we dearly hope that he's okay to return pretty swiftly to action, but he will play no further part in this game, being replaced by Lewis Ferguson with 10 minutes to go in this first period.
Yeah, Tierney will just go to left back in a 4. It's what they do with the extra midfield man now. I would imagine maybe go to a 4-2-3-1, or certainly Ferguson would like to be playing higher up, close to Dykes.
Well, it's going to be a Northern Ireland throw-in, and then we'll try and get an idea of how the Scotland formation shapes up for the closing 9 minutes or so of this half. 1-0 though, Scotland trail to a Conor Bradley goal as Andy Robertson troops up the tunnel, head bowed.
Yeah, it looks like a 4-2-3-1 with Gilmour and McTominay as the two sit in, Christie in the left, Ferguson in the hole in the number 10 type of position, and John McGinn coming out to this right hand side.
Here's Nathan Patterson, who will need to just lift himself after that error that has led to the Northern Irish goal. As you guys say, he looked to have recovered really well from his initial error, having won the ball back and then giving it away inside his own penalty area to Bradley, who did the rest. nick off Jack Hendry, helping it past Gunn. Here's a Scotland attack down the left-hand side. What can the change of formation do for the Scotland performance? It's back with Gilmore, midway inside the Northern Ireland half, out to the left-hand side. For Tierney in an advanced position, plays it into Christie. Christie tries to keep it in over in the byline, but just managing to do so, but not finding a teammate, unfortunately, and Northern Ireland able to come away with possession. Reid was flagged there, but play allowed to continue with Scotland back on the ball, and back it goes to Kieran Tierney. Now Gilmore inside the centre circle, looking for options. Hasn't been a particularly good performance, you have to say, by Scotland. Easily having their options shut down by the Northern Irish opposition, who look well drilled, and although they're playing at tiers below Scotland at club level, they have looked a well organised outfit so far, as Patterson just nudges the ball forward for McGinn battling away there to try and keep possession, but all he can get is a throw in, this time of Owen Toll. Quickly taken. Gilmore back the way though to Hendry. Hendry closed down, plays it to Gilmore once more, out to Patterson. Patterson closed down quickly as well by Spencer. Scotland throw in midway inside the Northern Ireland half on the right hand side. Scotland trying to move the ball quicker, but not having too much joy. Northern Ireland still with a bank of 5, then a 4, with Jamie Reid the sole front player, and it's working for them just at the moment. 1-0 they lead here with about 6 minutes left till the interval plus stoppage time. Scotland have it through Cooper, out to Tierney. Tierney forward for Christie, left hand side, a sliding challenge, a heavy challenge coming in. That's going to be a Scotland free kick. No, it's not, it's a throw-in. I thought it was a free kick the referee was indicating. It's quickly taken anyway. McTominay swings it in, and it's over both Scotland players in the box, McGinn and Dykes, and behind for a goal kick. 39 on the clock. Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think the change of shape is right. I don't see the necessity for Scotland to have 3 centre-backs playing against one forward that doesn't have enough lot of company, or didn't have enough lot of company. So I think the change of shape should help, but you know, again, I think right from the start the tempo needed to be a lot higher. Yes, you know, Northern Ireland has scored a kind of a worldie with a good bit of fortune as well, taking that little bit of deflection, but this can happen at international level, and you know, I think it's difficult to then try to lift the tempo. They are trying to do that. I think it's much you know, quicker. It's not as slow. They're trying to force the ball forward and cause Ireland problems. But I think that's what it should have been right from the start.
There's McGinn back to Gilmore, sends it into the penalty area. Not a good ball though from Gilmore, and time for Hume to knock that clear over the halfway line. Picked up by Cooper and playing it to Hendry, crossing the halfway line and out to Patterson, right hand side, midway inside the Northern Ireland half. Back though he goes to Hendry on the halfway line, square for Cooper. Scotland looking for a leveller to take in at the interval, out to the left hand side for Kieran Tierney. Again, the options limited going forward, so he goes back to Cooper. Cooper plays it square to Hendry once more, and now Patterson. Scotland playing it from left to right, right to left, struggling to make any advances, and in the end having to go all the way back to Angus Gunn. And you have to credit Northern Ireland for their organisation here, because they're really limiting Scotland.
No, without doubt. You know, it's a really solid shape, isn't it? It's not easy in the eye, I've got to say, but you know, the 5 at the back, pretty rigid, straight line, 4 in front of them, not narrow as well, you know, allowing the wide players to get on the ball, but making it really difficult to play anything through the line. So yeah, I mean, from a defensive point of view, you know, Michael O'Neill's certainly got them organised.
And with 3.5 minutes left of the first period, it's paying dividends. They lead by a goal to 0. Nathan Patterson waiting to take the throw in, gets it back from McGinn, midway inside the Northern Ireland half, but he's well challenged by Spencer. The ball breaks for Price. Price lifts his head, looks forward. Bradley's well advanced, just nudges it. Reid will pick up, edge of the box. It's Shea Charles with a chance to curl it, and it's almost a second for Northern Ireland, just curling wide in the end of Angus Gunn's far post. And Scotland with a let-off there, and Northern Ireland have been in the back foot for the most part, but they've probably had the best chances in the game.
Yeah, he's got to hit the target. He's got to hit the target. It's a wonderful pass and take, and it's into the path of Shea Charles. He does well to shift it onto his right foot. Then he's got the whole goal at his mercy. He's only round about the penalty spot. He's got to hit the target. That's got to go down as a major let-off for us.
It's huge, isn't it? I mean, he can put it either side of the gun. I think, you know, he could reverse it into the other corner as well.
Agreed.
So big chance. Oof. We were ripped open.
Yeah, it was all too easy for Northern Ireland to break forward on that counter, and Shea Charles arguably should have put them 2-0 up before the break. A couple of minutes left to play in this opening period. This has not been the kind of performance we expected from Scotland. Here's McTominay from distance, not too far wide, but it was wide. Best effort Scotland have had in the game so far. It's really from 35 yards or thereabouts. He let fly a blistering effort, but a yard or two wide of the left-hand post.
Tells you its own story, that, Alasdair, that's been our best and probably only shot on goal, not on target. He just cut across it. Yeah, he's a good 25 yards out at least anyway. And you know, that's how well Northern Ireland have done to limit us and frustrate us, and that is a sign of frustration when you're taking shots on, when you're off balance from 30 yards, and it's been your best opportunity in the half.
Angus Gunn digs out the pass to Tierney on that left-hand side, and he's able to come forward to the halfway line infield for Ferguson, the substitute. And then big switcher play from McTominay out to Patterson. Patterson just hesitant there, looking to find Gilmour, and Northern Ireland have nicked it, and they could be here on the counter-attack. It's Bradley once more charging forward into the penalty area. He goes, almost got the break of the ball, and it's not behind by Gilmour. Scotland at 6s and 7s when Northern Ireland counter.
Yeah, I mean, again, disorganised. Patterson gives the ball away. We've got Kieran Tierney's away up the park as well. Huge gaps down that left-hand side for Northern Ireland to break into, and again another huge opportunity for them, but we are all over the place. I mean, Tierney is playing like a winger there. He's a good 40-50 yards.
Yeah, it's like he's forgotten. It's like he's forgotten he's not got the extra left-sided of a three centre half.
He's forgotten about Friday night. This is what happened on Friday night, and it could be 3.
Short corner taken by Northern Ireland, right-hand side. They get men over there. It comes back the way to Charles, out to the right-hand side once more. It goes, it's flashed in, but behind for a goal kick. Just a few seconds left of the 45, plus a couple of minutes to be added on now for stoppage time. But Scotland, well, especially since having fallen a goal behind, really have not played well, but hasn't been a good first half performance generally speaking, and you would imagine Steve Clarke will be letting some players know about it at half time. There's a foul in there. Northern Ireland certainly not holding back in some of the challenges.
No, and they've got a very enthusiastic young group of players that want to prove themselves at international level. They're never going to make it easy for us this evening, you know, and you have to credit them. I think they've done exceptionally well when the ball has come into midfield, as it was on that occasion. They're snapping into tackles and trying to win the ball back. They've been defensively very sound. I mean, I think Lyndon Dykes has probably only had about 5 touches of the ball, mostly not his fault really, just a lack of service he's had from our players.
Free kick to Scotland then, midway inside the Northern Ireland half, left of centre. Gilmour and McGinn both over it. It's left to McGinn, who slides it forward. It's Tierney inside the penalty, a cross goal it comes. A terrific ball, no takers whatsoever, all the way through. And it might have taken a nick on its way through of a Northern Ireland shirt, in which case it's a Scotland throw-in, but it could have been so much better than that as Tierney flashed it across goal, and no one could get a decisive touch. Gunn gets the ball back and knocks it forward immediately. Ferguson, right hand side, tries to cut it infield for Dykes. Northern Ireland have bodies in the way and eventually just hack it out to this left hand side for a throw in. That was a chance, Willie Miller.
Yeah, it was. You know, it's just pretty straightforward play, isn't it? Just trying to lift the tempo a little bit and get the Northern Ireland defence tested.
Here's Christie. It's not a good ball into the box from him though. Again, some of the slick passing that was going on out in Amsterdam has deserted Scotland this evening so far, and some boos, quite a few boos actually, ring round Hampden at half-time as the whistle goes, with Northern Ireland leading by a goal to nil. Conor Bradley notching for the first time in his 15th international cap for his country, the Liverpool fullback, playing in a more advanced role and finding himself inside the penalty area as Nathan Patterson presented the ball to him, and he curled one, just taking a glancing touch off the boot of Jack Hendry, and past Angus Gunn for the only goal of the half. They might have had at least one more. Shea Charles curling one just wide shortly afterwards. Scotland have been really limited in terms of their efforts on goal. Scott McTominay flashed one good 2 or 3 yards wide in truth from distance. They haven't been able to trouble Bailey Peacock-Farrell in the Northern Irish goal at all, and that's why at half-time in this friendly match it is Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
On digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sport Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here.
On BBC One Scotland, an iPlayer.
He went out into the water.
He went into the water.
This is the true story of an Inverness man who goes missing in California, presumed dead.
The man's son reported he disappeared in treacherous waters.
The boy went for a hike and never saw his father again.
Kim Avis. He was a local celebrity, really, constantly in the press.
But when the discovery is made that he's a wanted man on the run, darker secrets emerge.
Rumours started to grow that there's maybe a more sinister side to his character than everybody believed.
Dead Man Running, tomorrow night from 9 on BBC One Scotland and iPlayer.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, live from Hampden Park. Half-time, Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1. Conor Bradley with a goal on 32 minutes. Tom English, let's call it as it is. Scotland have been dreadful in that first half.
Yeah, look, they've created nothing at all. This time on Friday night, they created a lot of chances. They've created zero tonight. Their lack of accuracy in the final third has been pretty woeful. The use of the ball around the park has been pretty poor. Captain is off. They're 1-0 down. And it's a pretty nightmarish scenario at half-time. The second half better be a whole lot better, because they can't lose this game. They have to win this game. If they lose this game, then everyone gets... I mean, you can hear the boos. I think, come on, let's calm down with the boos. But at the same time, they need to win the game. They need to get a bit of feel-good. They need to get some goals. They were looking for a clean sheet. That's gone. Totally self-inflicted again. Poor defending again. Saw that on Friday night. They need to turn this around. This is shaping up to be a very, very bad night so far.
Yeah, and it could have been so much worse. You'd have to see a couple of really good chances to add to that really nice goal from Conor Bradley. He certainly looks a player, that's for sure. Tom, you did raise concerns before the game about Nathan Patterson. Now, we can't judge him in one half here, but two really bad errors from him that led to the goal.
Yeah, for the second one, he's just trying a kind of very unwise pass there. That's not a percentage pass in that situation. And he hasn't been playing enough football. And he looks jumpy. He looked jumpy the other night. He looks jumpy now, almost like he's trying too hard to prove himself. And he's making these mistakes. And that was a costly one. I mean, it's a brilliant finish. I know it takes a touch off Jack Hendry, I think. But Bradley is a phenomenal prospect, really. I mean, he looks a fantastic player. But then they've gone 1-0 down. Now, on Friday night, Steve Clarke says, our problem wasn't so much 1-0. It was kind of switching off and making it goes 2, 3 and 4, like not staying in the fight at 1-0. 1-0 is not a disaster, but they didn't stay in the fight and it becomes 4-0. And they haven't learned the lesson, because it should be 2-0. It should be 2-0. I mean, Charles has a fantastic chance. He makes it for himself. Again, defending is poor. And they've created nothing at all. You know, I don't know. I'm shocked, actually, Kenny. I'm shocked. Northern Ireland have been very good, very solid, as the boys were saying. Defensively, that big bank of five, incredible discipline and concentration levels and all the rest of it. But you'd still fancy Scotland to have the wit to create a couple of chances, and they haven't.
Yeah, I think Willie shocked about sums it up. I don't think any of us could have foreseen this level of performance in the first half. It's been really poor, hasn't it?
I think, you know, I think when we go out and start passing the ball with no real purpose and pass it slowly and the tempo's not there, then we kind of launch into, you know, a situation where you're actually playing it into the visitors' hands, because that's what they exactly want you to do. They've got five at the back, four in the midfield, one up top. They're not really interested in taking the ball to you. They're not really interested in scoring. You know, Tomo says that we're not going to score tonight.
But did you think they were going to score? Until that mistake, they had not been anywhere.
It's unbelievable that, and Parsons, a huge error. He gets away with the first one. He gets himself back. Does really well to win possession. Just you know, play the percentage ball, get it out of the park, or try to play it off of one of the Irish players and get a goal kick. Something like that. Something defensively like that. Not a little kind of a dink pass forward that allows Bradley the opportunity to curl that one into the top corner. And then, Tom, you know, after the game, we're full of praise for Scotland and Friday night. And we're saying, but they have to learn the two middle goals are not acceptable. It could be three. It could be three out there. It certainly should have been two. It could be three. What have we learnt from Friday night? Doesn't look as though we've learnt anything from Friday night. But the tempo just, you know, is too low for us. I don't think we can play that style of football. I think, you know, on Friday night the tempo was high, the passing was sharp. Different type of game altogether. Absolutely, more space to, you know, take advantage of. We're really struggling if we're coming up against teams like this that are going to be organised, disciplined, you know, have five at the back, four in the midfield, and we've got to find the answers to the questions that they're posing. Is how is Scotland going to break us down? And they haven't done anything to suggest that they're capable of breaking Northern Ireland down in the first half.
In your defence, Tomo, I think when we watched the first 10-15 minutes of the game, Northern Ireland they offered really very, very little, and you just felt, okay, we're going to start to build here, game momentum, we'll take control of this game. But it's just been really flat from us right from the start, hasn't it?
I felt as though we started all right. You know, we're keeping the ball, we're getting plenty of touches of the ball, but then when it became apparent that we were really struggling once we moved forward into the middle section of the pitch and into their final third, that we were unable to create opportunities. I think the team lost momentum and lost a wee bit of confidence in what they were trying to do. And yeah, I mean, I said during commentary that the centre halves were having far too many touches of the ball. There was a couple of occasions, Liam Cooper did it a couple of times, when the ball was pinged out to one of the wing backs, and we were able to look threatening without really creating too much. Lyndon Dykes, you know, I feel for him up there because he's had such limited service, and they've done really well with our defence in terms of limiting him and marshalling and stopping supply into him. When the ball goes into the midfield for Scotland, when we are slightly higher, then the pressure they're putting us under with our narrow four, there is no space for the likes of John McGinn or Ryan Christie or McTominay to go and pick the ball up in these wee holes and try and create for us. They've done very well at limiting us there. From an attacking point of view, Ireland looked limited for a large spell. Then they scored the goal, which was completely of our own doing, and then after that we looked all over the place, and they really should have scored a second goal. I mean, it was good play, and Shea Charles, when he comes into the box on his right foot from round about the penalty spot, must hit the target, and that would have been 2-0. And you know, at that point in time we were really struggling defensively. They had another opportunity, and Willie rightly pointed out, from whether you're playing a back five or a back four, you know, for Kieran Tierney to have been out of position by a good 40 yards and for there to be no kind of conscious cover from a midfielder, or we just looked all over the place. So there's a lot to do in this second half. That was not good enough, and you can look at different parts of some of the 6-game run we've been on where the results haven't come our way and say there's been positive moments in it. I don't think you can pick a positive moment from that first half for us, and that is a big concern. So it's a huge second half for Steve Clarke and for the team, because tonight, as much as it's a friendly, there was an importance on tonight, and not necessarily the performance being the be-all and end-all, but getting a positive result and lifting the spirits. And you heard the crowd at half-time. So the last thing you want going towards a tournament and is to go in with, you know, ill feeling or bad feeling. So we've got to find a way to pick ourselves up here, and it's a massive 45 minutes coming up.
Tom, let's talk about the two wing-back areas. Real concern when Andy Robertson went off there. He looked in real discomfort. There was a moment when he went down for the second time over on the far side there when he put his head inside his jersey. He clearly fearing the worst. They will find out the next couple of days, I'm sure. But also, just to go back to Patterson, this right-hand side, if Hickey doesn't make it, how big an area of concern is that for you?
Significant. Because I'm not sure how much football Nathan Patterson's going to be playing from the end of until the end of the season. So he's going to be rusty. If he doesn't get in that team, he's going to be rusty. And it is. It's major. It's a major concern. Like, if he doesn't play for his club, I'm not sure. You're probably still bringing, but you'd be worried. Yeah. You'd really be worried.
I'm trying to think what options we have, Tom. If Hickey doesn't make it, what options would have in there?
Ralston.
Anthony Ralston.
He's not getting a regular.
That's about it.
You know, yeah.
I know. You're struggling. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. Hickey, everyone should be on their knees praying for Aaron Hickey to come back, because it's a serious problem for Scotland, because, you know, you feel a bit for Patterson because he doesn't have games under his belt. He's trying to find confidence playing international football here, and he got exposed there. He tries that pass to Gilmore, and he should never have tried it, and B, he doesn't even get enough on it. You know, so it's blocked, but it was never going to get to Gilmore. It was just a kind of little panicky flick. He got spooked in the moment because he had a couple of Northern Ireland players around him. He made a terrible decision. It looks a player that has very little confidence.
Yeah, we spoke before the game, Tomo. I think a surprise perhaps that Lewis Ferguson wasn't going to start tonight. He's got his opportunity after that injury to the captain, Andy Robertson. It's tough though, isn't it, to come into a side that's had to change shape, and a side that's just not really at it tonight.
Yeah, I thought he showed good energy from the moment he came on, though. He's starting to drive forward. The change of shape for me should make us a wee bit more offensive, but when you're up against a team that are defending like Northern Ireland are and are limiting us to so little, then it's difficult. And he's in that kind of 10 position in the 4-2-3-1, trying to get on the ball and make things tick, and there is literally no space in there, so it's very, very difficult. They've got to try and stretch and pull and drag Northern Ireland out of their shape, which was easier said than done because they looked very well drilled. I wouldn't be surprised to see more substitutes coming on at half-time, just to try and give other people the chance to go and see if they can come up with anything different that's going to kind of try and move this Northern Ireland defence. But they've looked comfortable, and up until the point that they scored, they didn't look like they were going to threaten us, but now they have, and we're a goal behind, and it's about the response to that. They've got 45 minutes to get a response, and it's a big 45 minutes because you want to give this crowd that are here tonight something positive. And you know, as much as we can talk about the fact that there was positives from Friday night, it is still 18 goals against and no win in 6. And the goal we've lost tonight has been a goal that you wouldn't expect to lose at international level football. So questions are going to start getting asked, and that's why we need a response.
Yeah, Steve Clarke, Willie's got to be getting stuck into these players down there at half-time, has he? He's just got to get them going something, and we've got to get the big start of the second half. Got to get the crowd back on side here.
Yeah, I think the gauntlet has got to be thrown down to the players, and whether he's contemplating more changes at half-time, whether he's looking at Shanklin, perhaps getting Shanklin on, alongside Dykes up top as well, but I just think the responsibility's got to be taken at the back defensively, and we can't let ourselves be open the way we left ourselves open for that third opportunity with Tierney away forward the park. But in the midfield, they've got to do something to make them think about it in the midfield area. Keep it nice and simple. I don't think you need to elaborate things, but you need to be more direct. You need to mix it up a little bit. You need to do something that's going to ruffle their shape, because their shape is rock solid, and it was rock solid in the first half, and it can't be the same in the second half. So Steve Clarke's got to come up with the answer on how to start making Scotland look threatening, because they haven't looked as though they were a team that could threaten any quality opposition, let alone the opposition here tonight, and the shape that Michael O'Neill has got out there, and the energy and the optimism for this young Northern Ireland side. Scotland, for me, all round better squad. But at this moment in time, not showing it. So big turnaround required in the second half.
Yeah, it's got to get a whole lot better. Let's go back to Willie, to Tomo, and to Alasdair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. No more changes actually as yet for either side. So it's as they finish the first half, as Northern Ireland prepare to kick off the second. So shot of Stephen Davis down there, part of the Northern Ireland setup, have been retired from football just in the last couple of months. Record Northern Ireland cap holder. And back underway then, and hoping for a better Scotland performance in the second half, and at least a couple of goals to show for it. Hendry out to Patterson, and back with Hendry once more, and playing it back to Gunn, out to Cooper just outside his penalty area. Scotland going from right to left in this second period as we look at it from the high up in the main stand here at Hampden. Scotland again just playing the ball about at the back, as they did so often in that first period, frustrated by their inability to penetrate the Northern Ireland shape. Here's Tierney though with a good ball into Christie. Now it's Ferguson poking it out to him again. Angle of the box on the right hand side. Uses Patterson as a decoy. It was a weak shot from him again, and an easy take for Peacock Farrell, the Northern Ireland goal, but it is a shot on target 1 minute into the second half. Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Yeah, and you've got to show your intent. You've got to try and get the crowd on your side in the second half after a kind of a lacklustre first half performance, and the directness there, the movement, creating a little opportunity for John McGinty. Get onto the left foot. It was a poor and weak shot, wasn't it? Straight at the goalkeeper. It wasn't one of his best efforts, but as you said, Al, at least it's a shot on target.
Yeah, which is not something we could say about anything in the first half. I can recall, at least, that I did think the stats showed that we had 77% possession in that first period, but it's what you do with it that counts. And Northern Ireland with their 23 managed to get the goal, the only goal of the game so far. Here's Christie, left hand side, just knocks it back to Tierney, and a nice bit of skill, and he's marauding down that left flank. Tierney lifts the head, cuts it into the penalty area. Ferguson gets a shot in, takes a deflection. He claims it came off a Northern Irish arm. Play continues as the ball breaks out to McGinn on the right hand side. Then Gilmour with an early ball forward, looking for Patterson. Bit better tempo about it from Scotland at the start of this second period. Throw in quickly taken. Gilmour back into the centre circle to Cooper. It's a great run by Tierney, wasn't it? Just a moment ago. Here he is again, rolling back the years there, Kieran Tierney. Hendry out to Right hand side for Patterson, bit of space. Can he measure the cross? He can't. That was a moment for Patterson to just regain a bit of confidence, put a good ball in and maybe pick out a teammate, and he curls it all the way behind. A poor effort. 47, almost 48 plays. Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
He's got to do better, and maybe it's an indication of where his confidence is at just now in his match sharpness, that when he received that ball out in the right hand side, it was perfect for him to put a good delivery into the box. We had numbers in the box, but unfortunately put it behind the bar, and that kind of sums up his evening so far.
That was a rerun there of the Lewis Ferguson effort. It did come, I think, off the arm of Paddy McNair, but it was right in by his side. There is a Northern Ireland player down on the halfway line. I think it's Jamie Reid's holding his head, and play is stopped for the moment. Don't think he's going to actually require treatment, but he's back on his feet after a collision there.
Yeah, it was an accidental collision. Didn't see a lot in it, but Northern Ireland get the free kick.
Brodie Spencer actually picking himself up as the ball is played up towards the edge of the Scotland penalty area. They deal with it though, the home side, but it's a poor pass looking for Ryan Christie out on its near side, and Spencer able to come across and knock it out of play. Ferguson quickly picking up on the free kick, and Cooper gets it out to Hendry. Hendry, looks like Steve Clarke really has pointed out the need for more urgency as Dykes gets it from Patterson, and then McGinn feeds it for Patterson down the right. That's another effort at getting the ball into the box, and this one straight into the arms at the near post of the goalkeeper. But Scotland certainly moving the ball about that bit quicker this half.
Yeah, but you know, it's simple and it's straightforward. You know, I don't think you have to think about it too much, to be honest. You're playing against a team that are set up rigid defensively, then you've got to make the tempo and be really slick and fast with your passing, and you know, maybe get some overloads going, and you know, some space created, and even centre backs, you know, driving forward with the ball and using it early, and both the centre backs are capable of doing that, and obviously Tierney is pretty good at bursting forward, so we need both full backs prepared to get forward, centre backs as well to take you know, more responsibility instead of what Jack Henry just did there, and just dwelled on the ball. You've got to use it quickly, get it forward, and if you're in any doubt, just dink it over the top and invite your strikers to go and try to get on the end of it.
Yeah, Hendry running into trouble there, and eventually fouling Jamie Reid, and Northern Ireland have a free kick 10 yards inside the Scotland half. 50 minutes on the clock. Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1. The goal coming in 32 minutes from Liverpool's Connor Bradley as the free kick is taken. Ferguson battling away there and coming out on top and moving it down the left hand side for Tierney. Sliding challenge there from Bradley, shoved away by Tierney as he claimed for the throw in. Thought it might have come back off Tierney actually. That was certainly Bradley's claim, but the throw-in goes Scotland's way. Cooper plays it into Gilmore. Now it's Hendry. Back to Cooper. Still midway inside his own half. Out to Tierney, left-hand side. Gets a break of the ball there and off Bradley. And then plays it back to Hendry. Quickly to Gilmore. And Gilmore lifts the head and thinks, what can I do from here? Plays it forward looking for Ferguson. He gets a flick on. Christie in a good position. Left-hand side of the box. Tried to cut it back. And the ball eventually behind for a goal kick.
It was intelligent though from Lewis Ferguson there, just a little.
The wee flick header was good,
yeah, just knows exactly what he's trying to do in finding Christie. Wasn't a particularly great cutback from Christie right enough, but you know, again, pretty straightforward stuff. You know, it's not you know, too complicated. Get the ball forward, get them tested, get them turning, and keep doing that.
We're just missing out the extra passes. You know, allowing them to sit in their shape, asking them a question with the ball over the top, a diagonal ball, and we get a kind of half chance from it.
Yeah, more hunger as well being shown by Scotland, trying to match Northern Ireland in that regard in this second half. Still Scotland trail though by a goal to nil, and Northern Ireland having an attacking moment of their own right now as Spencer comes forward on the left hand side. Good challenge from Patterson, and Scotland have it back, and it's Ferguson just outside of his own penalty area, pulled back there by Bradley. Play allowed to continue with Scotland still in possession. I mentioned earlier the last time Scotland lost to Northern Ireland, that was 83 at Windsor Park. It's their only defeat in the last 10 meetings. They haven't lost a home game to them since May of 1974, so they're looking to avoid losing that long streak this evening. So Scotland free kick on the halfway line, quickly taken by Tierney. Cooper has it now, and now Gilmore looking for the run of Patterson out on the right hand side, nods it down when he might have just taken it in his stride, and nothing quite coming off for Nathan Patterson this evening, it has to be said, and at fault at the Northern Ireland goal. On another night he might have already been withdrawn. Here come Northern Ireland looking to add to their advantage, and it is Reid at the edge of the penalty and gets an early shot off well wide of Angus Gunn's right hand post, and it remains after 54 minutes Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Yeah, we weren't really in a particularly great defensive shape again there. It's a nice pass through to Reid, taking the shot kind of on the angle and on the run from about 20 yards. Difficult chance to take, really. Dragged it past Angus Gunn's right hand post.
Scotland have it through Tierney, back to Gilmore, and square to Jack Hendry, but 15 yards inside his own half, out to the right hand side for Patterson, who could do with a turn in fortune. Hendry on the halfway line, again it's back to Patterson, right hand side. Scotland with plenty bodies forward, more than they had early on. McGinn nudges it back to McTominay, the referee in a way rather there. He does slide it through to Ferguson, out to the left to Tierney, one touch, then a second one before he tries to get past Bradley. Eventually hooks up to the back post, and rather untidy there at the back, and Patterson can't make anything of it, and Northern Ireland come away, and then Gilmore with a late challenge, and he's probably going to go into the referee's notebook here himself, having been on the end of one of those from Ali McCann in the first period. He has committed a poor foul himself, and it will be a yellow card for Billy Gilmore.
I don't think he can have any complaints about that one. It really was very, very rash and very, very late indeed.
Yeah, it's Brodie Spencer on the receiving end of that challenge from Billy Gilmore, and the Brighton midfielder rightly booked. I think he's probably hurt himself in making that challenge. It was very rash, maybe born of frustration.
I think that's exactly what it was, wasn't it? There's no way he's getting that ball, there's no way he's anywhere near it. You could see it coming, a mile away,
yeah.
And he's just clattered right into Spencer, was it, that he clattered into?
And he is limping now, Billy Gilmore.
Yeah, you can injure yourself with challenges like that. It's everything they're trying to stamp out the game.
Free kick taken then by Peacock Farrell up towards the edge of the Scotland penalty area. Scotland trying to get it clear, failing to do so though. It falls to Price, who takes on an ambitious effort, and that's well wide of Angus Gunn's goal. You could see he was just trying to set up nicely for him actually, and just trying to lift it over Gunn, but didn't get the right direction at all, and it's harmlessly behind. 56 played, Scotland still trailing by a goal to nil as Tierney with a lovely switch of play out to McGinn, but McGinn couldn't bring it under control as Northern Ireland prepared to make a change. Scotland have won it back. It's good work from McGinn, then McTominay skips away from a challenge or two, then he's taken out of play by Charles, getting a little bit towsy out there as Northern Ireland are about to make a change this evening, and it's going to be former St Mirren man Josh McGuinness who will come on, and he's going to replace Jamie Reid, who hasn't been able to add to his international tally, but obviously Scotland trying to get instructions on here for this set piece. Austin McPhee, the set piece master, obviously get something up his sleeve here. It's Gilmore who's going to take it. It's just a few yards outside the centre circle, very central area, but maybe they can work something. Gilmore Plays it to the sort of left channel, looking for Cooper. Doesn't really get much on it. It's knocked out of play, and it'll be a Scotland throw-in and no more. A few yards away from the corner flag on the left-hand side to be taken by Tierney. Looking for options. He wants someone to come closer. He throws it back to Gilmour at the edge of the box. Tries to get away from a challenge or two. Still has possession. Gilmour has to go back the way though to Cooper, and Northern Ireland able to try and squeeze Scotland up the park. Hendry out to Patterson, and Scotland having to go all the way back as they're closed down. Cooper again. It's all a little bit laborious at the moment from Scotland. Nothing like the quick passing we saw against the Netherlands, but here they come. McGinn tries to help it forward. I think Ferguson was offside, indeed he was, and the offside flag goes up at the edge of the penalty area, and it will remain Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1, with almost an hour played. Just a minute short of that right now.
There has been an improvement in terms of the performance in the second half, but we're still nowhere near what we're capable of out there. We have up the tempo, but we're still not creating opportunities, good opportunities, and looking like a dangerous team to play against.
Here's Bradley for Northern Ireland, fouled by Tierney. Two of them having quite the duel, and Northern Ireland have taken the free kick quickly, and it's a good curling ball from Hume there, just a little bit too far ahead of Price before he could get into that penalty area, and it's out for a throw-in instead on the far side for Scotland, about 15 yards away from the corner flag. And Scotland still rather toiling here, as you say, Stephen, nowhere near the levels they've reached. I was just thinking at half-time when the discussion was going on, and clearly there'll be a further post-mortem after the game if they don't turn this one round. Can we take any solace from the fact that it's unlikely that any of the teams who play in the Euros are going to have this kind of formation against us? They're going to be much more the type of team that will come out and try and win the game themselves, and it will allow Scotland that bit more freedom to go and play.
I think you can, yeah, and that would obviously be the assumption that we would make as well, that perhaps we play better against teams that want to, be open, take the game to you, be in the front foot than what we're witnessing tonight. But you've still got to, I think, just keep it as simple as you possibly can. I'm sure Steve Clark knew. You know what Michael O'Neill was going to play in terms of his tactics. So if you know that, then I don't think you pass the ball around the way we did in the first half and just kind of take the tempo right down. I think you do the exact opposite. So maybe if we can learn that from tonight's game, in case we do come up against a formation like this, which I think is very doubtful, but you just never know. And you go away having learnt something from the game.
Gilmour picks up in the middle of the park, back with Tierney, about 15 yards inside Northern Ireland territory, out to Ferguson on the left hand side. Tierney once more tries to move away from Bradley, quickly closed down, and he's caught off the ball by Bradley. It's not the first time those two have come together. Just in the last period, there's a handshake between the two as play rages on, and Scotland will have a free kick on the far side this time as McGinn's taken down. And it's certainly not been played as a friendly.
No, well, you'd have to say Northern Ireland have been right up for the game. They've looked really hungry to, especially since they've scored, to defend their lead and hold on to what they've got. Wins have been rare for them.
Yeah, certainly have. In fact, the fact that they avoided defeat twice in a row there against Denmark and Romania was the first time even that had happened since June and September of 2022. So the fact that they are leading here against Scotland is certainly against the form guide. As McGinn and Gilmour stand over this free kick, Gilmour will leave it. McGinn curls it in from the right hand side, glance towards goal but wide of goal. Big chance for Scotland to get the equaliser, but it heads a yard or so wide. Christie got the last touch on it.
Might have been Cooper. It was hard to see. It was one of the two of them. But yeah, I mean, it was a difficult one. It was a good ball into a really dangerous area, but he's not really got a clear header at it. He comes off almost the back of his head. And unfortunately for us, goes about 1.5 meters past the post.
The delivery's good though, isn't it? I mean, you're not making it easy for the goalkeeper. He stays on his line. Then the question is, can they defend against it? And Cooper's a big lad there as well. Even if you're putting your opposite number off, it could easily end up in the back of the net, and it's all because the delivery is accurate and it's into an area that's really difficult to defend.
Yeah, both Cooper and Toll got something on it as it headed wide. Christie was in the vicinity, but it was Cooper who was closest to it from a Scotland point of view, but couldn't direct it on target. Here comes Scotland once more, right hand side. It's Patterson, tries to turn back inside unsuccessfully. Northern Ireland managed to get it clear up to the halfway line. Hendry to Cooper out to the left hand side for Tierney, and now Christie up against Toll. Good sliding challenge. He hasn't held back one bit. Trey Hume this evening as Tierney gets the throw in into Gilmore. Gilmore tries to get it back into the path of Tierney at the goal line now. Stands it back into the 6-yard box. Chance for him again, but good save from Peacock Farrell to deny John McGinn as he stretched to try and knock it into the net. And Scotland pass up another opportunity. 63 in. Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Really good combination down this left-hand side between Gilmore and Tierney. He puts it into a great area, and I think it's John and Cooper maybe again, or Lewis Ferguson, I think actually both just challenging to try and get on it, but neither could get up above the Northern Irish defender to make enough contact on the ball to divert it goalwards.
Scotland still looking for a leveller then. 64 played. Conor Bradley's first half goal, the difference between the sides, as Tierney has another crossing opportunity, but McGinn goes down. Is that a shove? The referee says get to your feet. Play continues, right hand side, back to Gilmore, swings it in towards the 6-yard box, and it's a good take that time from Peacock Farrell, as the referee clearly felt John McGinn went down all too easily first time around. There is VAR in operation, but I'm not sure that is going to be a change of decision. What was your own take on it, Willie?
I thought in first viewing that, I thought John did go down to, I think it was Spencer he was up against. There was a little bit of contact, but I think the way he went down, he's kind of thrown himself down, but maybe get another opportunity to see it. There is a bit of contact, but what do you think?
No, I don't think there's enough on it.
No.
And I would normally back John to the hilt in these situations, but I don't think there's enough there for a penalty kick.
Goalkeeper has stayed down after that most recent effort. Bailey Peacock Farrell, after Scotland have been piling on a bit of pressure, but nothing too serious for him to deal with despite that, and play will resume with a goal kick.
Nothing clear cut yet, in terms of we are looking more threatening, but still not really testing the goalkeeper or peppering the goal as of yet.
Kenny McLean getting some instructions down there, I think, just at the moment, as Steve Clark ponders further changes to try and get his side back level and more.
Billy Gilmore's been hobbling a wee tiny bit since he took that knock from actually fouling the player and getting the yellow card, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him coming off.
Here's Cooper for Scotland, just inside his own half. Now Hendry out to the right hand side for Patterson, into Gilmore, quickly challenged there by McGuinness, unfairly though, says the referee, and Scotland get a free kick quickly taken. Here's Tierney, slides it forward, a lovely ball for McTominay in that left channel up towards the penalty area, into the penalty area now. McTominay, can he find a teammate? Cuts it back to Christie, and now again to Tierney, still left hand side, leaves it once more to Ryan Christie. At 30 yards from goal, tries to slide it through a gap that wasn't there, but Scotland have it back as Cooper gets it to Tierney. Christie takes over once more, 30 yards from goal, quickly closed down by Ali McCann, and the chance is gone. Scotland get possession back though. Gilmore lifts it over the top, Ferguson's in behind, not a great first touch, can't get the shot away on time, and it's squeezed behind for a corner. Well, Ferguson with a better first touch might have got a shot away there, but it's good recovery in the end. Northern Ireland retain their advantage.
It's a big chance though, isn't it? And it's not particularly silky soccer, is it? and I don't think he's offside. They were claiming for offside. I think there was other players in offside positions, but certainly not Ferguson. His touch should have been better. If it was better, he's got a striking goal. Good opportunity.
His movement was very good, the way he peeled off the defender, and it was a good spot from Billy Gilmour to pick him out. But you're right, he's got to then secure a better touch. It just got away from him, but really good movement from him to get in behind.
Scotland have made a mess of the corner kick. Shea Adams is going to come on, as well as Kenny McLean. Midway through the second period, Scotland still trailed by a goal to nil. They are going to have a free kick just inside the Northern Ireland half.
Hasn't changed much, Josh McGuinness.
Big Josh, brilliant. He was a goalkeeper with me at Cardiff.
Yeah.
And then we decided to chuck him up front in a reserve game once, and that was him. He's a handful.
Big strong boy, but it does a lot of silly things, I would say.
Yeah, that's Josh.
That's rich coming from you, Stephen, I have to say. Here's Cooper, plays it square for Hendry. Out to Patterson, still on the halfway line, back with Hendry. Northern Ireland looking still pretty comfortable on the 1-goal advantage. They know what they're doing, well organised in that 5-4-1 shape. Really well drilled by Michael O'Neill. And you have to say, signs of better things to come as both McLean and Adams come on. Dykes is going to make way. I mean, he's barely kicked the ball, Stephen.
No, it's been a tough night for him, but I can sympathise with him. The service hasn't been great up to him. Certainly in the first half it wasn't. Really limited in terms of touches. I think that the Northern Irish centre-halves have dealt with anything that's come up to him aerially as well. They've dealt and matched his physicality, so it's been a tough night for Linden.
And Billy Gilmour, as you're suggesting, is the other player to make way. Kenny McLean and Shea Adams on for the final 20 minutes or thereabouts. So Scotland still looking to try and get at least a draw out of this. I mean, I think most of us came into it thinking, well, let's go and win this, end the winless run and try and do it by scoring 2 or 3 goals. But I think we'll probably all take a draw right about now. As the ball's straight out of play from Cooper. He was looking for Patterson, but it's too high for him, and it's a throw-in to Northern Ireland. It hasn't been the best of evenings, that's for sure, but Northern Ireland have given it away, and Lewis Ferguson picks up in a good area into the penalty area, out to the right-hand side now. McGinn couldn't keep the ball as he won his side. Even a corner, well, the assistant says yes, and then the referee eventually agrees.
I don't know how. John just kicked the ball out. But we'll take it. We'll take it at this stage. 20 to go. 100%.
Corner then on the right-hand side to be taken by Joe McGinn himself. Brodie Spencer somewhat flummoxed by that decision. So McGinn, left-footed, curls it in towards the back post. There's too much on it. And Cooper can get nowhere near it, and the Scotland fans around Hampden, who've turned out in their numbers as they have done under Steve Clarke in this brilliant run, but they're not enjoying what they're seeing this evening.
No, they're not, and you can understand that it's a bit of frustration from them. They know that this team is capable of much better, and they're not seeing it tonight. And on the back of the results, last 6 results and this one going into the 7th, and I think the fans have got every right to voice their opinion, and I don't think you can expect anything else. And Scotland have just got to stick with it and try to. It's been a much better performance in the second half, but it's not been a sparkling performance in the second half. Fans are just looking for much better. They were expecting a lot more tonight.
Yeah, as we all were, I think. It hasn't materialised, not thus far. 72 played, Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1. As Hendry picks up possession, out to Patterson, right-hand side. Forward for McGinn, making that run in that right channel. Just lifts it over his marker, but there's quickly another Northern Ireland player on hand to pop the ball up the park and away to safety. As Patterson just sees it out for a throw-in on the far side, quickly taken into Hendry. Now Cooper, out to the left-hand side to Tierney. Tierney for Christie. Back to Tierney once more and into Cooper, just inside his own half. Trying to bring it forward. McGuinness closing down Hendry. Hendry arrows the ball forward, but no Scotland player on the same wavelength there, and tamely through to Peacock Farrell in the Northern Ireland goal, and they'll take that all day.
They will, and you know what, they deserve it. The high line that the back five is employing is a real issue for Scotland. You know, do you play it over? If you do play it over, then there's got to be some kind of a movement for the midfield players, and that just wasn't in existence there. But that high line makes it really difficult to find, you know, the little passes in the ground as well. So again, Michael O'Neill, tactics and organisation and discipline's been pretty good.
Tierney trying to find Ferguson, but in steps Daniel Pollard. Scotland will have it back, and here's Kenny McLean trying to drive the side forward up to Ferguson. Bullied off the ball there and fouled in the end, and it will be a Scotland free kick as McNair is penalised. Northern Ireland player down with cramp at the moment. 74 on the clock.
Yeah, it was that amazing run he went on just a few minutes ago. I spotted him pull up straight away. Cramp. Yeah, he's just getting stretched off now. It's difficult to see once cramp sets in. It's difficult to recover from it. It really is. Just keeps coming back, especially with a good 20-25 left.
Michael O'Neill can always change things up in conversation just at the moment about that very matter. Scotland will have a free kick on the halfway line, which is taken by Cooper to Tierney. Up the left for Christie. Forward now for Ferguson. Just gets a nudge in the back at the edge of the box, and the ball is played back to Christie, who slips it in an opportune moment and out of play for a Northern Ireland throw-in deep in their own territory. But nothing's really come off for Scotland this evening at all, whereas some of the passing and so on was a joy to behold in the first hour in Amsterdam. You could not say that about this performance at any stage.
No, but you've got to keep at it. You know, you've got to keep the hope there. You've got to keep chipping away at it. You know, the midfield players have still got to make the runs, and you're hoping that they can get in behind at some point. It is a very high line that Northern Ireland employ, and it's on just for that little dink over the top, or maybe a deep line midfield player running beyond and trying to take advantage of the space. But you know, as a good organisational performance from the visitors, there's no doubt about that.
Christie's done well, and he's almost away from Hume there. He's been fouled, and the referee, is he eventually awarded the free kick?
No, throw-in.
Just a throw-in. No. Anyway, that's taken, and Scotland have it moving once more, desperate for at least an equaliser. They will know how important it is to get some sort of positive result, even if you could consider a draw to be a positive result tonight. It's certainly better than a 1-0 defeat, which is what they're staring at just at the moment. We're already gone 6 games without a win for the first time since September 2008. They don't want that to turn into 7. Also don't want a first Northern Irish win on Scottish soil since 1974. Scotland have it on the halfway line. Back the way it goes to Hendry and square for Cooper. Out to Tierney. A couple more Scotland changes about to happen as Christie picks up left-hand side. Looking for Ferguson. He's taken right out of play. That was a seriously poor challenge coming in there from Paddy McNair. The referee's just having a word with him, but he was right through the back of Ferguson. And Scotland will have a free kick about 35 yards from goal, left of centre. Not a bad position, but Ferguson thankfully back on his feet. Here's the changes coming. Christie is coming off, and so too is John McGinn. And Shankland and Armstrong are the two players who are going to come on. And an opportunity then for Lawrence Shankland to get among the goals for Scotland, hopefully. And Armstrong coming on for his 50th cap tonight. Can he, in the last 13 minutes, help conjure at least an equaliser? Here he is about to take the free kick anyway. Curls it into the penalty area. Sliding in was Jack Hendry, hacked away from danger. Picked up by McLean at the edge of the penalty area. He's got to make something of this. That's knocked away as well. Retrieved again by Cooper. Scotland have it again. Right hand side is Patterson. Once again he sent that straight behind for a goal kick, and the chance is now gone. But that was a big opportunity just a moment ago as Hendry slid in at the back post. They couldn't direct it goalwards, and eventually Northern Ireland just managed to clear the lines.
He's always stretching for it, isn't he? But again, you know, it's just playing it into that area, you know, and asking Northern Ireland to defend it. And, you know, on this occasion, Jack Hendry does get in. So, you know, he's sliding in. It's really difficult to control it. But, you know, maybe if he can, you know, just get the side foot on it, get it directed towards goal, at least he's asking the goalkeeper a question or two.
An angle as the first one that we saw with Andy Robertson early in the match. Another fantastic ball in. This time it was from Armstrong, and he is stretching for it, but I do think he's close enough to be able to try and deflect it towards goal rather than try and cut it back.
And again, it was as decent an opportunity as Scotland have had in the game, but they've passed it up as they did on numerous occasions in Amsterdam. Here's McTominay now wearing the armband, trying to release Shankland. He's got too much on the pass though. Shankland acknowledges the idea, but the execution wasn't there, whereas you'd expect McTominay to be able to weight that pass correctly.
It was good movement from Lawrence, spots the McTominay's got turned and sets off straight away. The pass had to be inch perfect because the space between the centre halves and the goalkeeper wasn't much, and it was just overhit.
Northern Ireland trying to mount a rear attack of their own, but Armstrong steps in and robs Bradley, the man whose goal separates the sides. With just over 10 minutes to play, he could yet be the match winner here at Hampden. His first international goal on his 15th cap as Adams picks up. He hasn't had too much of a look in since coming on, but nudges that one back to Cooper on the halfway line. Northern Ireland about to introduce a couple more new players themselves. There's McLean, gets it back from Armstrong just inside the Northern Ireland half, looking for a bit more movement ahead of him. Goes back the way to Cooper, and now Hendry, who had that chance just a moment or two ago. Now Patterson, who hasn't had the best of evenings, gets it back from McTominay, has a bit of space to move into, finds Adams. Adams sweeps it out to the left hand side, picked up by Tierney. Left hand side of the penalty area, flights it in right footed, and it's flicked away for a corner kick on that right hand side as the Tartan Army try to get behind their side as they search for an equaliser. 10 to play, Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Yeah, they're just wanting the tempo, you know, to be the way it was there in that passage of play, and you know, mostly forward passes, you know, switching it from side to side as well, and then a very decent cross from Tierney into the box, you know, testing that Northern Ireland defence again. But hey, they've stood strong, haven't they, so far anyway.
Conor McMenamin is one of the players to come on as McTominay sends it the corner, has a chance, and is blocked inside the 6-yard box that was, and somehow Northern Ireland survive as Scotland try to find a leveller here. Will come once more through McLean, and now Adams left hand side, back the way to Cooper central area, midway inside the Northern Ireland half, back to Tierney trying to find the angle, sends it into the penalty area, comes down to Shankland, edge of the box. Out now with Patterson, right hand side, short ball into Ferguson, still right hand side of the penalty area. Patterson once more, Armstrong dispossessed. It will be a throw in. Will Northern Ireland make the changes now? They will indeed, and as I say, it's Conor McMenamin who is going to come on here along with Paul Smith, and Conor Bradley is one of the players who's going to be replaced. And I think if we didn't already know it, we can tell this guy is he's going places.
Yeah, top player. I mean, that was a big chance for us just a couple of minutes ago. The nod down into the middle of a packed box. Lawrence Shankland takes it nicely, gets the turn, and he's so unlucky to see his shot. He catches it flush, come off the defender's thigh and bounce back. Big chance.
Yeah, Brodie Spencer, the man in the way. Bradley and Price are the players coming off, and as I say, Conor McMenamin, St Mirren, and Paul Smith of QPR, the players to come on to replace them for the closing 7.5 minutes. But Shanklin denied by Brodie Spencer, just 2 or 3 yards out there, point blank range. Again, you can't really ask much more of Lauren Shanklin in the position. He caught it well enough, just that Brodie Spencer had himself ideally placed, as far as Northern Ireland are concerned, to keep it out. Scotland still pressing though for that equalising goal. Patterson has it, right hand side, back in field to the centre circle to McLean, tries to lift one over the top for the run of Adams, doesn't come off, breaks back for McLean, can't find a teammate on that occasion either. Patterson picks up the loose ball. Here's Ferguson, about 35 yards from goal, lays it off to the left hand side to Tierney. Tierney back in field to Cooper, square for McLean. McLean will spread it out to the right hand side to Patterson. Don't think Patterson wants to take on too many crosses, having sent the last couple straight out of play. That one comes off a Northern Ireland defender and out for a throw-in. Scotland take it quickly. Liam Cooper, who's had a decent game at the back, certainly for Scotland, can't follow him. He flights it over the top, just too much on it though for Shanklin, and rolls behind for another goal kick to Northern Ireland. 83.5 on the clock here. It's still Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
It's got to be super accurate though, that type of pass, and it's travelling a fair distance, you know, maybe 35 yards, something like that. He's trying to just pick out Shanklin, who's made a decent run in behind again, but just overhit it a little bit. I think Liam Cooper can be, pretty happy with how he's performed tonight. That's for sure, both in the 3 and in the 4.
Goal kick taken. Scotland pick up through Stuart Armstrong, closed down by McCann, breaks to Tierney and back out with Armstrong on the left hand side. One more Northern Ireland change coming fairly imminently. And Scotland pick up through Hendry, halfway line, looking forward, looking to try and somehow create an opportunity to avoid defeat here. A defeat that you'd have to say would be a lot more demoralising than even the heavier ones against the likes of the Netherlands, against England, against France.
Well, the difference is we weren't expected to win those games.
Exactly.
We were expected to win this tonight and chat of winning it comfortably and to enjoy the match. It's not been enjoyable and it's not been comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Here's Tierney lifting it over the top, looking for Adams. He will latch onto it eventually. Left hand side of the box, back heel for Armstrong inside the penalty area, right at the goal line, back with Adams, still left hand side of the box, back to Tierney. Armstrong once more, trying to take on his man on the left hand side, gets the cross in, but it's headed away outside of the penalty area. Hendry now out to the right to Patterson, quickly closed down. Can Scotland fashion one more opportunity? Hendry looking to try and get that into the penalty area, but it's headed away. Northern Ireland line very deep, out to Armstrong it comes. He lays it back to Cooper. Now Tierney once more into the feet of Adams. Adams lays it off to Armstrong, left channel, curls it towards the back post. It's a poor cross from Armstrong, behind again for a goal kick. 4 to play here. Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Yeah, it's the last thing you need, isn't it? When Stuart Armstrong gets the ball there, and he's not under any pressure whatsoever. He's just got to dink it into an area. Doesn't have to hit it as hard as that. You think you'd much rather see it getting cut out than it simply just flying over everybody's head and going out for the goal kick. And it just takes any momentum that Scotland had just out the game.
Yeah, he's normally much better than that with his deliveries and quality into the box. That was a poor one.
Ali McCann's enjoyed his return to Scotland, no doubt. His side leading by a goal to 0. He leaves the field of play to be replaced by Jordan Thompson, who had spells at Rangers and loans at Airdrie, Raith and Livy in his time north of the border, but now plying his trade with Stoke, and he's on for the final few minutes to try and see out this Northern Ireland victory. 1-0 they lead with 3 to play, and they have a throw in on this near side. They're right as they come forward. Scotland heading for a 7th game in a row without a victory. It's not the type of form you want to be taking to a major championship. You'd have to imagine they would fancy their chances against Gibraltar in the next game, but they certainly fancy their chances coming into this one, and it hasn't turned out that way at all, with Conor Bradley's goal looking likely to earn the victory for Northern Ireland, unless Scotland can do something dramatic late on. But it's Northern Ireland in possession as Hume sends it into the penalty area, headed away by Patterson. Thompson gets something on it, then Patterson with a second header gets it well out of the penalty area. Northern Ireland pick up the loose ball once more. Another good challenge by Patterson, but it will be a throw in on the far side to the visitors. Down the left they go this time, and it's McMenamin fires it into the box, but no one there barring Angus Gunn, who dives on it and immediately bowls it out to Kieran Tierney. The Scots in a real hurry now to try and get a levelling goal. It's looking less and less likely as McLean picks up. McLean, of course, involved in some late drama out in Norway, so you wouldn't rule it out. Here's McTominay with the captain's armband spreading out to the right hand side to Ferguson. Ferguson midway inside the Northern Ireland half, leaves it off to McTominay once more, and then tries to switch a play. Hume's there ahead of Tierney though, and then tries to play it off Tierney. Does come off Tierney but not out of play, but does break Northern Ireland's way, and they manage to hack it up towards the halfway line as Cooper picks up once more out to the left hand side for Armstrong. Armstrong back to McLean. McLean has to turn away there from Smith. McLean has it once more, short ball to Tierney, gets it back from Armstrong, then digs it forward for Adams, who got a kick there in the back of the heel from Ballard, but play allowed to continue. Scotland still in possession as McTominay finds Ferguson, and McTominay once more, still only midway inside the Northern Ireland half. Northern Ireland standing firm just at the moment. It's Armstrong left hand side. Can Scotland find this equaliser? He's beaten Hume left hand side, glanced on, and a glancing header from Ferguson is tipped over the crossbar. Good save from Peacock Farr. I'm not sure it was going to necessarily dip under the crossbar. A decent effort from Ferguson as it was flicked on by Adams, then headed goalwards by Ferguson, but the save keeps it at Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Yeah, decent effort. I'm with you. I'm not sure if it was going to dip under the bar, but Armstrong really good down the left hand side. Adams makes a run to the near post, and then Ferguson gets a header.
In comes the corner. 4 minutes have added on time as it breaks to Adams at the edge of the box. His shot is charged down. Ferguson goes to retrieve it. Back to Tierney. Tierney into the box. This is a chance! Oh, it's over the crossbar. I think it was Kenny McLean attacking it at the back post. And as it fell to him, Shankland, who got onto it. And as he tried to loop it over the goalkeeper, he managed that, but he looped over the crossbar as well. And the chance goes a-begging, and it remains Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
It was a really strange opportunity. The ball gets put in, the whole Northern Ireland defence has stepped out, but Lawrence has managed to stay onside. It bounces before it comes to him.
Strange bounce.
And he's got the goalkeeper right in front of his face, but he keeps his eye on the ball, and it's unluckily for him, it goes wide and over the bar. Decent chance.
Yeah, goalkeeper's in no man's land as well, isn't he? But it did look as though it came off the surface rather strangely, which might have put him off, but a big chance for him.
And still Scotland unable to find a goal here at Hampden as Patterson bursts forward. There is Shankland. He's eventually stopped in his tracks by the hard-working Spencer. He runs it out of play. Scotland throwing. 4 minutes were added on here. We're into that right now. Over a minute into it. Scotland still trailing by a goal to nil. Tierney on the left-hand side. Armstrong now for Adams. Adams back to Tierney. Scotland need to get forward. Back in field for Adams. Adams tries to slide rule pass. Shankland will do well to keep that in. In fact, he can't. Out of play for another goal kick to Northern Ireland. And it's looking more and more like another game. Another game without a victory for Scotland. In fact, heading for defeat.
Just overhit that one, wasn't it? The idea's right. You know, Shankland making a little run in behind, but Shea Adams just overhitting the pass. He managed to find a bit of space there as well, Shankland, but the pass forward has to be more accurate.
He's offered that threat since he's come on, Lawrence. He's looked to get in behind, something that wasn't happening in the first half.
Northern Ireland have it exactly where they want it, albeit they've just surrendered possession as Tierney picks up left-hand side, midway inside his own half. Just a minute and a half remaining of stoppage time. Scotland still trailing by a goal to nil as McLean picks up on the halfway line. Tries a big diagonal out to Tierney on this left-hand side. Tierney tries to lift it over Hume. Did it come off his hand? That's what it looked like, but the referee says no, play on. Good challenge by McLean to win it back. And Scotland potentially time for one more opportunity here. Just over a minute to go. Kenny McLean, left-hand side is Armstrong. Armstrong bringing it forward. Looking for a run of Adams. A very adventurous pass. It will be a corner, though. Adams has done well to make something of that. One final chance then for Scotland to avoid defeat here.
Just never gave it up. Adams managed to win the corner. It's going to be an in-swinger from Stuart Armstrong. Really need to make this count. Time is up.
Almost. Armstrong from the left-hand side, right-footed. What can he produce here? Sends it in towards the back post. Comes off a Northern Ireland head first. Not entirely clear. Will be now, though. Hacked away up over the halfway line. Gunn will go and try and keep it in and then launch it back upfield. Absolutely no time to waste here for Angus Gunn. Forward it comes. Ferguson beaten in the jump. Northern Ireland have won it. Charles plays it out to the left-hand side, and Northern Ireland surely cannot give it up now. Good play out on the left-hand side from McMenamin to bring it forward, and then he just knocks it down the left flank, just looking to buy some time, although McGuinness just sees it out of play. And surely now Northern Ireland have their victory after a 50-year wait at Hampden, and those who remain inside Hampden of a Scotland bent voice their annoyance and indeed anger at the result, which has gone Northern Ireland's way thanks to Conor Bradley's first half goal. An under par Scotland performance, that's for sure. Unable to create anything of any real note throughout the 90 minutes. Lewis Ferguson forcing a late save, and Lawrence Shankland causing a couple of problems after coming on as well, but otherwise Scotland offered very little in an attacking sense, unable to break down a well-organised Northern Ireland outfit who stung them on the counter after a Nathan Patterson error inside his own penalty area. Conor Bradley of Liverpool picking up to lash in his first ever international goal, and that ultimately has been the difference between the sides. It's just their second victory over Scotland in the last 11 meetings, and as I say, their first since 1983 all told, and their first in Scotland since 1974. It is no wins in 7 now for Steve Clarke's Scotland, who are gearing up for Euro 2024 in exactly the opposite fashion from what they would prefer to be doing. And they've got to lift themselves up now, heading into the final 2 friendlies ahead of Euro 2024 in June. But it finishes here at Hampden. Scotland 0, Northern Ireland 1.
On digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sports Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Scottish football lives here.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. The Northern Ireland players down celebrating with the fans on the left-hand side. About 1,600 of them here. They've been very, very noisy tonight. And my goodness, what celebrations they have. As Al said, their first victory here since 1974. What a goal it was. It took a slight nick, but Conor Bradley looks a real player. He had the winner, the only goal of the game on 32 minutes. My goodness, what a chorus of boos there was at the end from the home support. Around 36,000 inside the National Stadium tonight. A really, really poor performance from Steve Clarke. We'll bring you all the post-match reaction here on Sports Sound. We are with you right through until 10:30. Very interesting tonight, Willie Miller, to hear the thoughts of the national manager Steve Clarke. I was thinking there, we've been speaking recently, that's now 7 games without a win, but that's got to be the poorest, the most concerning performance we've seen in a long, long time.